Hello and welcome to Enchantment of Eternity's review for Westworld Season 4, Episode 7, Metanoia. This video is a part of a series of videos where I review episodes of Westworld, so I have to start with a spoiler warning for Westworld up to Season 4, Episode 7. If you have not seen this episode, you will not want to watch this video, otherwise some things will be spoiled for you. So, I still don't really know how to feel about this episode. I feel like I need to really see next week's episode before I can make a final judgment on this episode, because a lot of it is building up for the finale, which I kind of expected. Although this episode did take the story further, a lot further than I had expected it to. Like, I was actually surprised. A lot of the stuff that happened in this episode I thought wouldn't happen until the finale. But I feel like, yeah, there's parts of these conclusion to these storylines that I felt like was disappointing. But then again, maybe there's more to it that we'll see in the finale. That's kind of why I need to see the finale before I can really make a judgment on this episode. So anyway, it begins with this really clever sort of scene that's in the Sublime of Bernard running one of these simulations, and it's like up to the point that we're at now in the story where he and Maeve go to the Hoover Dam to activate the Sublime. Now, I think pretty much everyone kind of figured out that Hoover Dam is where the Sublime was kept. Although I thought I heard some other people suggesting that wasn't the case, or might not be the case, but I always thought that seemed like pretty obvious to me. So we got that revealed. But I still don't know why they're opening the Sublime. Surely this will be explained in the next episode. But it was interesting because I didn't catch that this was in the Sublime. And it was interesting hearing Bernard talk to Maeve, who figured out that she's a simulation in the Sublime, and they're speculating on what the real Maeve would do. Now, she was saying that she believes the real Maeve would not go along with Bernard and would rather go into the Sublime to be with her daughter. And so when we see Bernard play out the same scenario in real life, he plays it out differently and doesn't mention the possibility of going into the Sublime. Instead, promises her that she'll be able to go into the Sublime afterwards, after they're done, to be with her daughter, which is a bold-faced lie that he knows that she's going to die. Now, apparently they had this letterbox, the aspect ratio of the shot was different to indicate they're in Sublime, because apparently in Season 3, when they showed scenes from Sublime, they used that same format, and I just don't notice stuff like that. I totally didn't notice until I watched the video that pointed that out to me. And so when we went back to the real life, I was like, so is this actually real life, or is this also in the Sublime? Was the whole season in the Sublime? But no, the videos I watched now made it clear that they have that clue to let you know, the format to let you know when you're in the Sublime, when you're not. So clearly this is not. Well, the stuff that came later in the episode was not. Which I don't know how I feel about that, but hey, I mean, at least it makes it definitive what is and what isn't in the Sublime. But anywho, so we get this build up to the mission. Bernard's going off with Maeve, and Stubbs is going off with C. And what happened to the rest of her rebel group? I don't know, did Jay kill them all? I don't remember. But anyway, it seems like her girlfriend was the only one left, and she's staying behind. But regardless, they have this goodbye between Stubbs and Bernard And it was kind of cool how, Bernard was saying his goodbyes and Stubbs could see right through him. And he was like, fuck you, Bernard, why aren't you telling me? And when Stubbs was like, oh, I don't make it, do I think he knows he's joking. I think he knows that Bernard is the one who doesn't make it. And that's why he's acting all funny. But here's the thing, a lot of people were like, oh, this is so touching when we're finally saying farewell to this great bromance. I was never really into the Stubbs and Bernard pairing. I never really liked the Stubbs character overall because I felt like his reveal that he was a host like drastically changed his character and came out of nowhere and was inconsistent to everything that came before it. And he just kind of felt like really unnecessary to the show overall. It was just there to crack jokes, and so I just never got into this pairing, so I wasn't as affected by them saying goodbye. I don't really care. So then we see in New York City with great quotation marks that I still don't know what the hell to deal with this transcendence and what that means. I've heard some people say, oh, this is what it means, and other people saying, oh, I don't know what it means, so I don't know. So Hale's decided that everyone is going to transcend. She tells us to Caleb while the man in black is standing next to her, or the bot in black, if whatever you want to call him. And he's like, wow, this is news to me. Do you really mean that? She's like, yeah, absolutely. We had more people or more hosts who have died in the past 2 days than in the past 2 years. And so this is becoming a huge problem. Now, again, what is this transcending thing? Like, they get their brain ball taken out of their head and put into this giant slender machine. Are they just... Does that just mean they no longer have a human type body and they're just going to live in this slender machine? Or is the slender machine somehow like connected like a network, like the way that the Sublime is? I really don't know. It's definitely different than the Sublime. Not much they made very clear, because Hale says later that she knows that eventually all their brothers and sisters in Sublime will eventually join them, and that's maybe her plan was to like destroy the Sublime, and so they could all come out. So maybe they are just like, because we've seen those slender things apparently walking around the city, so maybe it just means they don't want to look like humans anymore. They want to have these long, tall, slender things that don't have arms. I don't know why that would be better, but anyway, maybe that's but I'm still very unclear on what this transcending thing is. But regardless, she wants everyone to transcend, and the bot in black is not right on board with this plan. And he goes and talks to the real William. The real William's, an asshole, saying, oh, I know what you want to do. You want to burn everything down, blah, blah, blah. And I think he convinces him, but he starts by killing the real William. Which, is he dead? I think he's finally dead, personally. And then he goes off and... this has affected him, and then this will affect the end of the episode. And then we get the Christina and Teddy, which I feel like the past couple episodes is just Teddy just going around guiding Christina and throwing out a lot of exposition. And it's kind of getting a bit stagnant that way, although we did get a really good scene with her when she was in the bath, like trying to drown herself. Like, that was a great scene. That was super intense, mainly just her coming to realization of who she actually is. Now I do get the impression when Teddy told her in the previous episode that when she asked who created this, she said you did, that he was speaking in terms of Hale is just another version of her, and so Hale created it, but since Hale is also her, she created it, like that kind of way. Not that her directly was responsible for this. Because he mentions in this episode how there's many different versions of her, and that Hale was one of them. So that's kind of my interpretation. But then we get like this cool thing of her, going throughout the city or going through the building where she worked at and telling everyone to destroy their work and creating chaos. And I think Bernard knew this was going to happen because this coincided with C and Stubbs breaking into the building to try to find Caleb. And I think that's how he knew it would be so easy for them to get in, but getting out would be harder, as we see at the end of the episode, that everyone goes crazy and starts killing each other. So then let me get into the whole Maeve of it all. This is what I really found disappointing, because this is something they've been building up all season. Bernard's like, we gotta go in the desert and get Maeve and unbury her and put her back together. And we need Maeve and we need to put her back together. She's a weapon. They kept calling her that. She's a weapon, and this is the weapon we need to destroy. So I thought Maeve was gonna go to this tower and just fuck things up and like use her special abilities to like undo everything and blow everything up, but instead she doesn't really do anything. She just goes and has a fight with Hale, which she doesn't necessarily win, and then gets shot in the head by the Man in Black. So what's the point of her being there? Now again, as I said, this is something that could be explained in the finale. Maybe she's not actually dead, because apparently Hale's not. We've seen images of her in the finale, which I don't know. But so maybe she's not actually dead, and so she still has something left to do. But if she is dead, then I don't know. It's still a possibility that maybe she already did something that was important for saving the world or whatever. But yeah, at the point, like, they need to justify her having her here, because right now it seems like it was completely pointless, and there was zero payoff to this huge build-up they've been having all season. But again, this is why I'm saying I need to see the finale, because the finale could fix this. Now, and I kind of skipped over a really important tidbit, is when Bernard told her that there was no saving the world. That they can only save, maybe they can save like a few of them, like for the new world. And she even says that, like, this world is dead, but there might be a few left. So maybe it's like talking about sort of recreating humanity and recreating a whole different society. Which apparently, I watched the video that said this was kind of predicted by Rehoboam, that the human race would be wiped out, but it was a possibility that another society or civilization could rise up from the ashes of that. Which all makes this really interesting that Rehoboam predicted all of this. But yeah, so I'm not really sure what they mean by this or what the deal with that is, but I don't know. Again, maybe this will be made more clear in the finale. So yeah, so Man in Black just shows up out of nowhere, kills Hale and Maeve, and then like he turns on the tower so everyone will just kill each other, and he's like the survival of the fittest. And I kind of like that evolution, because it is him, this man in the bot in black, like turning back to his roots of the real William and letting that influence him. And I do like how most of the hosts who encountered outliers reacted by killing themselves, where William is since he's based off of the real life William, who's a lot more of an insane, cynical asshole, his reaction is not to kill himself but to kill everyone else. And that kind of goes in line with this character, and I do think that's a really interesting dynamic. But again, they really need to do more with Maeve to justify her existence this season. But we'll see. I mean, again, I have to reserve judgment for the finale for that. So they see and Stubbs rescue Caleb, which is a cool scene. It was really touching. Did bring a tear to my eye. I have to say the reunion between Frankie and Caleb, and how Caleb at first didn't recognize her. And Caleb is like, yeah, it's me. And she's like, you look exactly the same. What did Hale do to you? And he's kind of like, no, it's just me. That's kind of evading the question and delaying the inevitable that she's going to find out that he's in Host's body. That's only going to survive for like 2 days. And so this is going to be an interesting thing to follow up on in the finale as well. But yes, that was a very touching reunion, and to have them in the subway where everyone started fucking going crazy, started killing each other, and Frankie ended up getting shot, and they had to use their wits to get out of there. That was pretty intense. So then the whole Christina thing, where she, when everyone starts going crazy, she tries to use her, abilities, her powers to tell people to stop it, but no one's listening to her. And Teddy then says that it's because that the tower sort of is overriding her, which makes sense to me. But then at the end of the episode, we see William destroy the tower. He just walks out and shoots some random things, and they play the David Bowie song, "Man Who Sold the World." And it's funny, they play the original version. Usually they play different versions, like an instrumental violin version or whatever. But whatever, it was cool having that one. But is everyone still gonna attack and kill each other since the tower is destroyed? Because if the tower is destroyed, then shouldn't that stop whatever nonsense he put into motion? I don't know. Again, this will be made clear in the finale. But when Christina, she was. Then Teddy said something very confusing to her. He was like, "Oh, the reason why they don't see you is because you're not here. You're not real. This place is real, but you're not." What the fuck do you mean? What do you mean? Now, I hope it's not simply him saying that because she's a host, that she's not technically real the way that humans are real. I hope that's not what he means, because that wouldn't make any sense, because they're kind of establishing that all hosts are real. And he's been talking about our kind a lot. But again, it would make no sense if she's like a program or whatever, because he said this place was real, so this isn't like she's not in the Matrix or a program. He's saying this is actual reality, but she's not real. Again, if she's not actually there, if she's maybe she herself is a program or some shit like that. But she's been interacting with people like her friend, her boss, and she's been, her boss was fucking grilling the fuck out of her, and she used her abilities to turn him around. So, and that dude who would who was going crazy because you're controlling my life, so she's clearly was there. What does it mean? Again, I hope they justify this line, and it's just not something stupid I don't know. I'm very confused by that aspect of it. Now, I also got to talk about Bernard's death, which I kind of glossed over it. So Bernard, I think it's, if there's anyone who I think is definitely dead and going to stay dead, it's Bernard, because that's definitely the way they've been building it. And I believe he definitely believes that this was the end of his life. And we see him record this, weird message. We don't know who it's for, about, you can't miss and whatever. We don't know who this message is for or what the deal with it is. And obviously we'll see this coming to fruition in the finale. So I don't even want to speculate about that. I'll just wait till next week and find that out. But yeah, I think that he's dead. I mean, I think there's a slight possibility because we thought Dolores was dead, but she came back in a different form. So I think they could possibly do something like that with Bernard, where he's kind of back, but not really. But I would vote for this is probably the end of him. But I think Hale and Maeve, I am not so sure about them. I think they are, because as I said, like in the trailers we see Hale, and it would make no sense for Maeve to end here because she didn't fucking do anything. So I don't know. I don't know about them being dead, but I think Bernard is in some form. But anyway, so hard for me to give a rating for this episode because I don't know. So I'll say my rating for Westworld Season 4, Episode 7 out of 10. I'll give it an 8. Extremely good, but it's like 8 is really dependent on the finale. If the finale is really good and justifies this build up, then it could go up. If the finale is a bit of a disappointment and this episode didn't actually build it up very well, then it could go down. But for the moment, I'll just say an 8. Extremely good. There we go. But anyway, that's it for my review of Westworld Season 4, Episode 7. Now, just a bit of housekeeping. I am going on a trip cross-country next week, so I will not be able to review Westworld the day it comes out. In fact, I won't be able to do, probably not. I'm not planning on doing my review for the finale until I get back from my trip, which will be Thursday. The Thursday after it comes out on Sunday, so it's quite a few days, which I know I'll get less views because of that, but so be it. This probably won't be until I'll be able to cover the finale, but anyway, I will be here for the finale, and also do a season wrap up for the show as well. And I cover many other shows on my channel, like Better Call Saul, Star Wars Rebels, The Expanse, and more. And of course, all things Star Trek. So be sure to subscribe so you can keep up with all of that. And thanks a lot for watching.